All right, I'll call this March 12th, 2024 school board work session to order. Dr. Arbogast.
Thank you, sir. We'll start with the school nutrition update for you. Packet information here for you.
That's okay.
I'll give you an idea of what's, that packet information contains several different things. Top page, top packet that's stapled gives you just a summary of what's occurred, kind of meeting with managers, that sort of stuff from the beginning of the school year. Next document kind of gives you a comparison of the last 7 Februaries, kind of give you an idea of what revenue, costs, and that sort of stuff, reimbursements, what that's looked like over the last seven Februarys. You have a third document there. I'm just kind of giving you an overview of what's there, and then we can kind of go into each one a little more in depth. The third document kind of gives you an idea of what the claim rates are for the National School Lunch Program. And the last document that's about 7-8 pages is the monthly cafeteria accounts tracking for each school. That's a lot of information there for you to look at and review. I don't want to walk through anything, Dr. Brown.
Just your top document there, as Dr. Arbogast said, is just a summary pretty much from August to where we're at right now in terms of the items that were discussed with school nutrition managers, administrators, VDOE. Kind of gives you a snapshot of where we started and where we're at right now. It includes information on just our professional developments, our interaction with the state, and our meetings with the managers and so forth. And kind of also later in the document around February, March, January, it kind of starts showing things we go deeper into as we get into this. The February comparisons, Ms. Lawson, who still works with me, put those together. That kind of gives you a snapshot from prior to COVID to where we're at right now. The third document, the federal reimbursement rates, those come straight off of the VDOE. And if you look at that, you'll see that our National School Lunch Programs are free. So if you're 60%, consider 60% or more, you're reimbursed for at $4.27 for each lunch, but that you don't get each lunch. That's only as per your ISP number. So only 63, and I don't have the exact number, I apologize, like 63.8% are reimbursed at that rate. The other 30-some-odd% are reimbursed at 50 cents a lunch. So that is the calculation as per CEP based on what our individual student percentage, I believe is what that acronym stands for. So 427, and you have to add the multiplier or the performance rate of 8 cents per meal. That brings that up to 435, and our 42 cents up to 50. You can see our school breakfast, the reimbursement rates for that as well. I believe you can also add 8 cents to that. So that kind of gives you a snapshot. So 63% is based on your direct cert numbers, which include your TANF, your foster, your homeless, that includes your direct search, which comes from the state. Your example is your TANF, your WIC, your homeless, your foster. All those numbers go into that formula, and that's what our CEP numbers are based off of. So again, 63% we're getting the $4.35, but every meal after that, we're only getting reimbursed for 50 cents. So that's where that's coming in, and again, that's based on our CEP numbers. Also, we have been in constant contact with our state nutrition specialist. We've asked some questions of them. So April 1st, we'll reevaluate. April 1st is our window for CEP, and we will recertify our numbers at that point. We're hoping that our CEP percentage goes up. Currently, our average is 40.7%, which is 0.7%. Of course, we discussed this past summer. We're only 0.7%. At that time, they've actually lowered that number down to 25%. But at the time, this past summer, when we rolled a school into that, that kind of watered that percentage down just a little bit, which also kind of waters down our reimbursement rate a little bit as well. Again, the thing that we have found, and I'm going to give credit to David Thompson, found is our food costs. PFG identified that, and also the VDOE identified that. 93, and David, speak up if I misspeak, okay? 93.3% of our revenue right now is going toward food costs. In terms of case count, our case count has gone up as well. So we have met on that, and what's going to happen starting with our next order is we're going to centralize our ordering here at the central office. Myself and Rachel will now do the ordering for all schools, and that is so we can be consistent with our SAM co-op negotiated prices. I did an analysis on some of our orders, and we had a percentage that we're ordering off the SAM co-op. Now, those are small tweaks that we can make, but we're hoping they're small. I mean, we're tweaking anything and everything we can. So I cannot make you any promises on the amount of money that will save, but it is one step in our efforts to get a handle on everything. Again, we're going to meet with our state specialist in or around April 1st and do the calculations. If you remember last year, they also told us our total loss for this year would be $35,000. Well, we're not at $35,000. We're quite a bit higher. So we're just going to have to sit down and look at that and see where we're at and go from there and bring that information to you as a board. So, also, I want to point out for the February information, I learned something this month as well. That loss is showing 48,000, and what that, and David, again, speak up if I misspeak. That 48,000 is based on January's reimbursement as applied to February. So that's how our accounts balance out. That is actually, and I don't have the exact number, around 14,000. Is that correct? 17. I'm sorry. It's around 17,000. So so if you go back and look at January's reimbursement is based on December, or January's number is based on December's reimbursement through the state. Also, if you see anything with what I'll call SNP web at the top, that comes directly from the state, and that kind of gives you another snapshot of our beginning and ending balance, our reimbursement rates, and what our claims have been through the state. So the claim year summary, if you can look at that, August, it gives you from August to February of claims. That's the money that will come from the VDA and from the federal government. We are continuing to meet with the managers on a weekly, bi-weekly basis. We've changed our menus up. Some of the feedback that we received was menu burnout. We had worked to utilize or change that. Also to utilize our USDA, further utilize our USDA commodities, I call them commodities, and to, again, try to make any small changes we can. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Starting 2 weeks ago, we pushed the breakfast in the classroom, get more participation there as well, in schools. In an effort to try to get, again, participation up, try to get some more revenue coming in to offset this. So taking a lot of steps to try to slow it and stop the funding loss, but
Is that
keep looking at it.
with the breakfast in the class?
We, Macy saw the most significant increase in breakfast. We're seeing some increase at some of our schools. We're working to increase it in all of our schools. I would say we're doing our best to increase participation across the board. Also encouraging folks to eat lunch. I know I've spent a lot of time at Macy here recently. Really proud of what's going on in that kitchen, and hopefully continue to see improvement across the board.
One thing I did hear from a parent was she tried to get her kids to eat the free lunch, but the complaint was by the time you get through the line and then you got to punch the number in, that it's taking too long. And I read somewhere that if you're doing the free lunch and not, a la carte, that you could just do a tally and run them through without having to do it.
You can do that. You can do a tally sheet, but if you do that, you have to. At some point, though, you do have to go back in and enter those. I have to look into that a little bit more and give you the specific information. But
I think we should be doing everything that we can to encourage that participation. If that gets a kid out of the lunch line 3 or 4 minutes faster on a 22-minute lunch period, that's make the difference between them buying or not.
Was, if I may, was that a younger?
No, it was high school.
It was high school?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say for our younger students, we also offer barcode scanning. So you can actually go through and just scan a barcode. So we've offered that since the beginning of the year. It really works for our little ones. We can do tally sheets, we can do barcodes, we can do the normal checkout procedures.
How have the interviews gone for the Macy replacements?
We're still working on that.
Okay.
I know we're doing the summer program, but I think it's as expansive as it was before COVID. The community one is, because I thought that was a source of revenue for us.
We're looking at what they call non-congregate feeding, and they changed some things. Fortunately, they changed some things over between now and COVID to where you can potentially do 10-day drops. So you can actually get the food ready and do what they call 10-day drops. So if a family wishes to get the breakfast and lunches, you can actually, each family would get 10 meals. So every 10 days you would make deliveries throughout the county at certain points. We're in the preliminary process of planning for that right now. I don't have too many details on it, but it is an extra source of revenue, and we are looking into that as well.
No, I like that. I think that program was good for us I wasn't on board then, but it always seemed like it was good for the school system, it was good for the community. And if that is a way for us to get some revenue, it seems to me, we're going to have variable costs, but the biggest thing that we're fighting right now is revenue, and the only way to increase that is participation.
We're looking at every possible way to try to get the participation increased, to get the revenue up. That includes summer stuff as well, so.
I've already participated in the webinar on that. There's several trainings you have to go through, so, Katrina Ward has really jumped in on that, myself, Rachel. We're looking at all of those aspects and we're just putting the pieces in together to start planning for that, so.
Where we at, Mr. Brown, on possibly having an ag lab raise all our beef? Anymore?
Again, you and I have talked, and then I've talked to Mr. White, and I think they have a plan to increase production. I don't know that it's gonna be like next year, but I know, again, it's gonna be steadily increased, and I think we will continue to look at that to see, push as much as we can do. One of the other things too, just to be mindful of, we do receive USDA commodities, and beef is one of those. So, and again, don't quote me on this, I believe our allotment coming up for next year. So we can secure chicken, beef, and turkey, from them. So, we can supplement if needed. Questions? And if at any point during the month between our work session, board meetings, whatever, anybody has any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email, send me a text, or give me a call. I'll be happy to do anything I can to answer your questions. Again, we are working very hard on this. I know Macy's been without a manager for a couple of weeks now, and I've been kind of pseudo filling in that role. I stop by there every day, and there as much as I possibly can. So, everyone has been working hard on it. Administrators have been very supportive, and very supportive here at the
We'll continue to update you each month or each meeting when we can, make sure you know where we stand, and what we're doing to move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just some things to update you, just so you're aware. That packet right there, insurance committee met February 28th. Mr. McClarty came down along with Emily Cook and the nurse to talk about our insurance plan and the wellness plan with the insurance committee. You have a copy of what was shared. Emily also had a document that she shared as well. Based on the information that's been shared at that meeting and that was shared with us at the 2-on-2 with the board of supervisors, don't anticipate that increase in the health insurance. Again, that's 6 years in a row, so that's pretty good, considering. So that kind of just gives you an update on. And I have some additional information I can forward you if you're interested in seeing the numbers. I think I have that from Mr. McCarthy. I can forward that to you as well, so you see it.
Everybody seemed fairly satisfied with it.
They asked questions about, talked about the possibility of increasing deductible and increasing the HSA, but really everybody otherwise seemed to be good conversation. And I don't anticipate anything changing plan-wise.
Chris was pretty set, it's very money in it. Just.
And it was the same, similar information that he shared, I think, when you and Philip were there the month before.
Each year we don't have a premium increase, it looks better and better. So.
That's great. That's very positive.
That was the first year. The VA and, he was really, very appreciative of the wellness program. He really spoke highly of that.
Again, just so you know, a couple other items, kindergarten registration, that notification went out, I think last week. It's gonna occur in April. Nares Elementary is on April 11th, Eastern is on April 17th, and Macy is on April 18th. I've been posting to social media, so that's out there, as well. CDL course, we are offering, another school bus CDL license, class, going to be done in April 13th and 14th. That's going to be a Saturday and Sunday to try to accommodate individual schedules, work schedules. Again, to see if we can increase the number of individuals that we have available on the buses. So
What was those dates? What was those dates here again?
April 13th and 14th. It's a Saturday and Sunday, and it's all day long, and assuming Mary's gonna be doing that, correct? Mary Dalton will do that, be the instructor, she'll do it here. Anybody that's interested, just need to call the central office here, call Rachel or Dr. Brown, and get people's names on the list. Sick leave pay for retirement. Wanted to continue that conversation. You asked me to check with the county to see what they do. County reimburses the individual at their daily rate of pay, up to $5,000, and that's at retirement only. So
they put a monetary, essentially they put a monetary cap, whereas
and when we theoretically have a monetary cap too, because we have a certain number.
some number of days.
Yeah, we got a certain number of days.
Ours is 4,000, theirs is 5.
So, yeah, ours is $20 up to maximum 200 days, so. I know others around us are $40 to $50 a day. And again, I'd have to look to see what their caps are. I don't know if they have a cap, say the other divisions around us or not.
Look at that, because I mean, I think that's something, again, we can talk about what we want to do, but I think we need to don't want to put the county in a bind. I mean, no, they've got to, if we do it, then they're going to get asked on their end to increase it to whatever it is, so we need to make sure that they're on board if we do it.
I think we'll save money in the long run though. If we quit burning all these days. If we quit burning the days, we will come out ahead.
You gotta keep in mind, there's also a cost on this at the front end. Every day they're out, it's either 85 or 105. And then next year we'll have to increase the meet minimum wage, so it's probably gonna be 90, I would say 95 to 115. So you've got that as well. But I'll check with other divisions, see if they have a cap on the dollar amount, if they're 5,000, 10,000, 8,000, whatever that cap is, if they cap days or whatever they, and then we can have that conversation further. I emailed you a week or so ago about the solar eclipse that's coming up on April the 8th. I don't know, I've not talked to too many other divisions around us. I've talked to 2 of them. The solar eclipse on the 8th is supposed to begin around 1:50 or so that afternoon. And the maximum eclipse for us is around 3:10 or so. That's, I think, 85 to 90%, I believe, is what it is. And it ends around 4:30, that time frame. So that's right there where the kids run the bus for us. So I didn't, know, we've had conversations here with that, knowing that kids are on the bus, we don't have, I mean, safety things in place and that sort of stuff with what concern there could be with the kids. Not that they're gonna look up at it, but who knows? Was there any need to consider releasing early that day? Or do we just want to continue with that, continue as a regular day and we investigate and look into purchasing glasses for the students at 49 cents a pair?
$1,100. I think we look at $1,100. The only thing I say, if you let out, you're gonna have to let out one at the latest, probably looking at 12:30.
We were thinking 2 hours early, what the conversation was.
Little ones are over wearing glasses.
I mean, and are we still,
Other divisions are considering closing early.
I think some are talking, and again, I won't know for sure. I'll know better Friday. Going to our region superintendent's meeting to see what others in Region 7 are gonna do. I know I've talked to, again, Pulaski and Radford. I think they've started the conversation as well. I don't know if they want to hear what others are gonna do in the region also.
what about, I mean, what are we gonna do about the spring sports that are scheduled? That's something that's gonna have to, I mean,
I don't know what's scheduled that day. I have not looked at it. Yeah, I just wanted to start the conversation because if we're gonna purchase glasses, we probably should have purchased them already, but we need to move along and get them. Again, $1,100. That's pretty good considering they're 95 cents to $1 a pair is what they.
I mean, there's part of me that says, hey, it would be great, but there's also a part of me that says that some of these kids, the best chance for them not to look at the eclipse without protection is for them to be in our supervision. You know, it's darned if you don't, is what I'm sitting here looking at.
So I've got to ask a question about this. So we're talking about purchasing glasses that we would hand out to the kids when they got on the bus.
They would have them at school and they could go out. If we were in school the whole day, they would go out. I would assume they could go out and have a lesson and they could use the glasses.
Okay.
Because I mean, I can show you the glasses. I mean, that's what they are. Mm-hmm. And you can't see, I mean, I can't see you sitting here.
Yeah.
You can't see through them. So. But if we were to get out early and purchase those, then they would be given to them and they'd take them home.
Take them home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think go ahead and purchase those because my biggest fear in the whole thing is that we're going to be the only chance that some of these kids have to look at it safely. If we don't do that.
Those high schools, their athletic schedule starts at 4:30 when it is. So it's just,
That should be the end of it.
it'll be the end of it when they start playing.
So it should be done and over by the time they're playing.
Would it be safer though for us to keep them in school? That way you know the teachers are gonna make them wear the glasses, cause you send them home, how you gonna know they're gonna wear it?
Or lose them, or lose them.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially little ones.
And that way, if they're getting on the bus at 3 o'clock and say, glasses on.
I don't know.
But I mean, it's just one way, I mean, either way, but that's why I at least want to have the conversation, because I know we've had it here and I know other divisions have started to have it as well.
Well, and the other thing is if they got sports starting at 4:30 and the ones that aren't are gonna have practice and we're gonna have high school kids there from 1 o'clock on in the middle of it anyway. Or coming back, they're going back.
So if I'm hearing correctly, we're gonna purchase, when we're done here today, we're gonna order the glasses. Or I assume we're gonna, based on the conversation, we're gonna stay in school the whole day. I just wanna make it.
It's going, to me, it's almost a coin flip, but I feel like the ones that our best chance of some of these kids not damaging their eyes is probably us, them being in school and using it as an educational opportunity. And it's probably gonna be cloudy that day anyway. Watch it rain all day and we will have this conversation
For nothing. Which is totally possible.
Right, which is possible, especially for rain.
I think the one in 82 or 83, I think it was cloudy that day. I remember Miss Sarton's class at Rich Creek Elementary.
Oh, she was my favorite.
We'll work on ordering them today. Other comments on that before we move on? Construction update, renovation update. Just so you know, we met with ZMM on February 22nd at their office to kind of get comments back to them from our meetings with the principals on the safe school entrances, et cetera. We also met with Bill Shelton on site at Giles, Eastern, Narrows High School, Macy. I think that's all that we did on the 28th to discuss access roads. And I'm gonna bring up a document that I'll kind of show you what at each site, what we were talking about. The access roads, track at Narrows High School, et cetera. And what he provided us was a fee proposal to start to have stuff designed for each of those projects. And that's what I have here, and I'll show that to you here in a moment. Also on March 5th, we went to all the schools with ZMM and the interior designer to start looking at colors for cabinetry, et cetera, for the safe school entrances and the redesign of those office areas, et cetera. Gonna go back to 2 sites next week and hopefully finalize that. And so they're still moving along with that process. So we're just waiting on them to tell us they're ready to go without Giles and Narrows High School, get that on the street. So we can get those out the door. And we probably need to, sooner than later, start getting the other ones out there as well. But a couple, just so you can see, what we're talking about for ZMM. As we talked about Giles High School access road, we talked about that. We're talking about up here off the road going up to the hospital, coming in this backside up here, coming up off of. So he's got a design, and you can see there. It's going to create a new entrance. It's got to meet VDOT standards. They got to have a full set of plans not required. They just have enough information to get a land use permit. There's some utilities here that are going to have to be addressed. And then we'll have to asphalt and pave this area here. And then we'll put a gate up in here wherever that connects.
And there's been a second proposal. They've reached out to me, the Ag Lab and Tech Center has reached out to me. You know how we talked about cutting that road in below the fence, Mr. Williams? There's actually one that.
Let me go to the next picture. You can see it better on the next picture.
Okay.
I can kind of touch it. The second project, the second thing there we talked about is up here. I thought you could. I thought it was down further. Sorry. It's creating somewhere the ADA access in this area here, creating some sort of walkway down to the bathroom to get access down there, that sort of stuff. I apologize, Dr. Brown. I thought this was lower, that you could see it. But this part of the conversation with this entrance up there on the first one was to cut a road that comes across the the fence runs here and comes down, was to cut a road just underneath of it and meet up here.
So, I was contacted by the Ag Lab folks, and one of the things, or they were asked about it. One of the things, Mr. Williams, is it was access for our teachers and so forth, opening gates. What we can do is actually utilize the existing road right now and make it an alleyway, put a fence on the other side. So there would be one gate down at the bottom of the hill. That'd be the main gate. When Mr. Townsend comes in, he would open that main gate. And as long as he's there, that gate would remain open, and then they could drive up and not open any gates or anything like that and drive up the existing road. I was told they already have the fencing material and the fence post to do that. I think they've also, they're gonna put the gates on the sides so you can access one pasture from another. But that way there would be, minimal cost. We already have the materials, and it would provide the access there with no gates. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think there was some concern about water runoff if we cut below that fence down where the baseball practice field is. That's also a proposal as well. And they could actually go ahead and probably get that in place maybe this summer.
Yeah, because they have the posts and the fence, and they can get
Fence
that.
now,
I think the only thing they'd have to buy is a gate.
yeah.
So again, you got the ADA here that they're looking at, converting this gravel lot into a compliant parking lot, try to get a walkway down here, that sort of stuff. They're gonna have some field work that they're gonna have to do along with the information with the GIS. So that's that project. Eastern, we've talked about the access road there as well. Basically, it's coming off here and kind of, so the buses don't have to come up and make a sharp left turn. It's gonna kind of parallel, so that makes it an easier transition for the buses to go that direction, or car vehicles to go that direction. So there's some work they're gonna have to do there. They're gonna have to do some plans because they're gonna have to get the land use permit. They're gonna need a profile, section details, and drainage calculations. It will be gated. We'll put a gate on it. I don't know whether it'll be here or up here. I don't know which one they're gonna require us to put the gate. And they're gonna get some information from the GIS system as well. There could be some additional field work that they have to do there also. Nearest high school. First thing to talk about is the trees, all the trees around this track. If there's gonna be any conversation about resurfacing that with a rubberized track, all that will need to go away. All those trees, the pine trees will be hard on that rubberized surface on that track. Plus, there is also a retaining wall that starts about here and works its way around this corner out of railroad ties, and that needs to be addressed. And I think that could have been some of the problem that we experienced with this corner here. We had to deal with replacing that corner a couple years ago. So there's work that they'll have to do there. They're gonna have to look at try to get the slope of that. So that there's field work that they're gonna have to do out there as well for that, and look at a possible retaining wall to stabilize it, or the shock rock that we've talked about, and we mentioned to him about the shock rock as well. So they're aware of that, and as part of that, they're aware of the possibility taking the dirt from here and using it. That's another. I don't know if that's the next one. That might be the next one. The track rehab is the next one. Track rehab is talking about, again, rehabbing the whole thing. Rubberized surface, against that latex. Gonna have to mill the track, fix the asphalt. You're gonna have to do some conduit work and sleeves for electrical, that sort of stuff, high jumping. It's gonna have to be repaved surface, discus and shot put's gonna have to be addressed. And then they're talking about putting the long jump runways inside somewhere. So that's that. Third one there is the baseball field grading and erosion control. Again, we've talked about it. It goes uphill from the infield to the school, which is tough. And you can see this is actually taken at some point last summer when we were actually doing a little bit of the work that we did to try to get rid of some of the grade uphill then. So their proposal would be to, again, regrade it, get the erosion control plan, get that in place, and then do any other field survey, and then get final drawings for us. And what's the last one? And this one, I don't know. We have to have a conversation with them about this last one, because I thought through our conversations this was part of phase 2 of Macy renovation. So it should not be here. It should be part of the renovation. But again, that's this last one. We need to have a conversation with them. But again, this entails looking at all the parking areas and traffic flow and ingress, egress, trying getting in and out of there and trying to see if there's a better way to help with the congestion and access there.
Where are we going to put our equipment areas while that's up there, the stuff for ordering?
It's a good question. We have not had that conversation because I need to get the AIA 2017 document back from council with changes that he's making to get back to them to sign. I really don't know. I don't know where they're going to want to put it. And I don't know that they've said anything to it.
We got to take delivery of this stuff,
We've got to.
or else we can't use the grant funding money for it. So that's why
We've got to start. Yeah. So.
and secure it on site.
Yeah. So there, that's all the 7 tasks. Again, keep in mind that last one, we have to have a conversation about with them. You can see what the scope doesn't include. And there you see the fees, just about $2,000, $2,500 for each task. Again, would take this one or the 7th one off, because we have to have a conversation with them about that. So the total you see is just over 12,000 for them to get those, and they'd have us something, and you can see they'd have it to us by April 5th, have all this stuff drafted. And they said by the board meeting on the 8th, I think we told them we'll probably have a work session that first week in April. So that's why I put that there. Questions? I know that's a lot.
Mr. Williams, you like that idea for the road?
I need to look at it.
Well,
It's just busting. It's busting. Basically, I'll make another paddock out there. Is what you're now saying. Move cattle and more gates and paddocks, but maybe it'll be all right. I'll look at it. Yeah. But those prices sound reasonable.
yeah, they do. They do from that standpoint. That lower option, that would go down behind that baseball practice field in there. That seems like to me it gets awful damp in there, doesn't it?
Well, it'll be up on the bank.
Okay.
The fence is up on the bank there. It'll be up on the bank, actually. No, I think it'd be a good grade, and I don't believe it'd be that much.
I was thinking Terry said something about they were looking at another option down, or said something. Did you say something they're looking at going down the hill and there's an issue with the water? Never mind, if you did.
We talking about Giles High School?
Yeah.
What they're concerned, I think, is the conversation, because here's where we talked about running
The road,
Running around, I'm gonna do it on this one, because if I touch that one, it's gonna move. Running right across here and coming in here.
Yes, sir.
What they proposed is taking this, leave this gate open, come up, run the fence. I believe, Dr. Brown, if you tell me,
Can I show you? So right here, if you look at this, you can see the road right here. So they would actually install, it'd be a lane, essentially. You just put another fence on this side right here, which would eliminate your gates up through here. And they would, like I think I heard somebody say, create paddocks. So that's what they're proposing. And they've already got the fencing material. The road's already built. I heard some concerns about the drainage right here.
Yeah.
That's what the concern was.
So I heard some concerns about this right here, but, you know, it's up to you folks.
Well, the only thing I see right there is if somebody's bringing the trailer in with that, making that turn, we're gonna have to be careful where you put that fence up at the top.
Well, this could be, I mean, it could be tweaked a little bit. Again, I'm not going to swear to it, but, I mean, we would probably have to pay to have this graded out. I don't know, but.
No, we got a guy who'll build that road for us, donate. But I just looking at that, right now, basically, we're not using that land for anything. It's not getting used for anything, that stretch right in there.
Right here?
Yeah, we're not using it for anything, just mow it. That'll just give you more, if you can get that road down there, that'll leave you the whole upper side to utilize for the ag land. That's what I was looking at, main thing. I don't think it's gonna add to that, it's not gonna add that much to the drainage situation there.
I think, and what we told ZMM is they essentially would stop their process about this. And then it would be up to whoever's responsibility to grade that. Again, there was some concerns right here with holding water, because this all slopes back toward that.
It does, down there. It does. There's not gonna be any more water coming off that hill. You probably can ditch it, take it, most of that water on there back down up in that pond. The county's pond, the retention pond. My way of looking at it, you know, they would utilize all that land, not doing anything with it now. They just leave the other land for the ag land.
Yeah.
Do you want to look at this option, or do you just want us to proceed with this?
No, whatever the board wants to do, I just hope we'll do something there we've got.
I like it to the extent that path that Mr. Williams is talking about can be done down there on the bottom. It makes more sense to me. Just.
No, we've got a guy, Brandon Cummings said he'd build it for us, donate. Line plan to give us a stone. They just gonna leave all the way above there to utilize for the cattle without having the fence.
Yep. Yeah. We'll proceed in that direction is what I'm hearing. Is that correct?
I think so. Otherwise, you're losing that land right there.
Yes, sir.
It's a good grade right there. Yeah, pretty much come up off Hartley Way there, and it's pretty good, same grade all the way out through there to the parking area.
So I think what we discussed is right below this fence line.
Right.
And then about right here. Is that correct?
Well, keep it right with the fence all the way out through there, right below the fence. Then come up into the parking lot. It's pretty level. It's level shot right out to the main parking lot there.
The fence, see how it bends like that? What we told ZMM was just to not do any work on this, just provide us kind of a sketch, a roadmap, so to speak, of that around there.
I'd stay 10 feet below that fence all the way out through there. It comes right into that level spot there where the proposed parking lot is. Right there. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
to me, that's the way I'd do it.
Yes,
We'll
we'll let ZMM, and so you might want to get with your guy.
He's ready to do it anytime. Y'all give him a go ahead. And the line plan, like I said, the line plan give us a stone. There's really not gonna be any cost doing it that way. And I think we want to save that other land to use for ag lab stuff.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna go ahead, we'll have the conversation with ZMM about task number 7 that they had listed there for Macy, because that again should be part of the project for phase 2. But we'll task 1 to 6, we're gonna tell them today to proceed and get that going, so we have all that finalized, so we can make sure we're moving on.
Sounds good.
Anything else with the renovations that we left out?
One thing at the board meeting the other day, I found out, Miss Layton said Mr. Edmund, the fence is bad place right next to the bypass. And they're not utilizing that. But I talked to Mr. Clark at the board supervisors meeting, and VDOT has to maintain them fences on that limited access.
I was gonna say, is it a VDOT fence?
Yeah, he said he'd try to take care of it. So we'll get a new fence on the bypass,
Bypass.
back end of it.
Yeah, the back, yeah, that's what I thought you mentioned too, was on the bottom side.
One more thing related to, I guess, building issue. I had somebody request that we put a camera in the ISS room at Nares High School. If we could, it seems like that might be a good place to put one if we need it.
And I had another gentleman, Jason mentioned that, I had another gentleman that had an idea or request. He said at Eastern, that the resource officer used to always park out front. I think who was out there before, Mr. Atkins,
John Bowman.
Bowman, he always parked the car out front of the school. He said that was a good idea. He said he felt a lot better pulling into the school. First thing he sees is a police car sitting up there instead of, I think Mr. Atkins was parking around back. And he just said, and I agree with him. He said he felt a lot better when he pulled in there to see that police car.
Think twice.
Yeah.
We can get that request done quickly. Yeah, I'll ask, technology to let the camera.
Do we have one in the other ISS rooms, in the other schools?
Elementary schools, kinda, don't think so, no, and, I would venture guess at Giles, no either. But I'd have to ask, I'm not sure about Giles. I don't think so. So,
I don't think it's a bad idea for essentially a disciplinary room to, we've got one in AEP. It makes sense for ISS if you've got kids that are already in there for some disciplinary issue.
Particularly if you only have one kid in there, it's always good to have.
it's always good to
camera.
have.
Yes.
If there's only
Yeah.
one kid to access that day.
A little bit of protection there. Any other items?
Taking on that access to the ag lab, the only thing going that other way, if I did that, put that fence above the road, on the upper side, I'd move that fence all the way down, because we're not utilizing that hill for anything. It's probably acre or acre and a half, not utilizing, having to mow it. I'd move that fence back down to, that utilize that if you go do that road the other way. Well, either way,
I'm with you on, you've got that acreage, you use it.
yeah.
So again, we're gonna proceed with, at the bottom of the fence, right?
So I thought if everybody, whichever way everybody wants to go, but I'd at least move, if we're gonna move fences, I'd move that existing fence right now all the way down to the flat spot where the cattle can raise that hill.
Yeah. I just wanna make sure I tell Sam that correctly, so.
That's the way I'd do it, but if your board wants to go that way, I'd at least move that other fence down the hill.
I think we have some time to.
Okay.
I mean, we'll proceed as y'all wish, but as far as actual physical building, when we get ready to do that, we can maybe take another look at that fence and the road down at the bottom, so.
Well, we should have, some preliminary plans from CMM on April 5th, so we'll be able to share those with you. Let you kind of look, make sure we're all on the same page.
I just hate this, we're not utilizing that land there, acre, that's another cow or two you keep.
think there's,
Those are all the same that I gave you.
Okay.
okay.
So for the 24-25, and this one that I'm giving you is 25, I'll give you a second year, 25-26. All right, what you have there is we met with the calendar committee again on, what day it was, February 27th. Had a conversation about a second draft that was sent out. The second draft was starting school the first day with students on August 19th. First teacher workday was August 12th. And basically we took out all the makeup days and that sort of stuff that we talked about. The consensus of the committee, majority felt comfortable and liked that proposal, 24-25. So what you have there is what was sent back to them to make sure that we caught everything. So the first teacher workday will be August 12th, those 4 days that first week. August 19th would be the first day of school. Labor Day holiday, the 30th and the 2nd of September. 2-hour early release on September 18th for teacher professional development. October 2nd would be parent-teacher conferences / professional development that day. October 23rd is in the first 9 weeks. November 5th, that's election day, which will be a teacher work day. Thanksgiving break, 27th through the 29th of November, and then Christmas break would be December 20th would be the last day, it'd be a 2-hour early release. That would get 83 days in before Christmas break. Conversation with Mayor's High School, they thought they could get SWL testing done that they needed to, as long as they had the opportunity when we came back from Christmas break to do retakes as necessary. And we can set the window in such a way that that is possible. So they would have the ability to come back after Christmas break to do any retakes needed. So we come back January 6th from Christmas break, end first semester on January 10th. The 13th will be a teacher work day. The 14th will be start of second semester. January 20th would be a holiday, Martin Luther King holiday. February, there's nothing there. March, teacher work day on March 19th. Easter break in April, the 17th, 18th, 21st, 22nd. That's the Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Memorial Day holiday, and then the last day of school would be May 30th, 2025. And then the makeup days would be after that. But again, as long as we have the ability to do virtual, I guarantee that we wouldn't go into the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th. But if we have some sort of heavy snow, heavy ice, or something like that, and we didn't have power, then we would have to use a makeup day, which would be at the end of the year. So that's the proposal for 24-25. 25-26, I don't know if you're interested in doing a 2-year draft and the board approving a 2-year calendar or not, but the 25-26 is basically the same thing that 24-25 is. And the last day in 25-26 would be May 29th of 26.
And you said the majority of the feedback was positive from the committee. What were the biggest concerns of this proposal?
Again, the 2 sites wanted to have first semester taken care of completely by Christmas break. There were some concerns about making sure we get into classrooms. They could get into classrooms over the summertime. Some of that will be addressed by what we do with summer school, and we'll have a conversation with maintenance. Some of the, I was looking to try to figure out the concerns from the first draft. Again, they like the calendar being condensed. Again, the concerns we just mentioned, maintenance of the buildings, teachers getting into the classroom. Overall, I thought, I mean, really, they were positive about either one, but again, the majority felt that they wanted to put Martin Luther King Jr. back.
I heard that feedback from some teachers too.
Is there any way that we could say teacher workday / professional development?
Which one?
Any of them,
Well,
because.
they all say teacher professional development except
March 19th.
March 19th.
Okay, professional, like on the work days, it's workday / professional development.
The 13th and January 13th
January 13th.
and March 19th.
January 12th. We can
Call them whatever you want to, Ms. Mustang. I mean,
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, a lot of these, when we have like, when it's a teacher workday, a lot of the times we'll need to do professional development, and those like, well, this is a workday, we shouldn't be doing professional development on a workday. But we do it because there's no children in the building, so if it was a workday /
Yeah,
E-day.
we'll put teacher workday / teacher professional development.
so whatever helps you do your job, we're glad to
Yes.
assist you.
I'm just, the only reason it's my concern is because of the literacy initiative and all
Yeah,
the
we'll
things we
add
have to
those.
do next year with it. I would like to
It's January 16th,
just say workday / PD day.
January 13th, and March 19th.
No problem. I don't think anybody else does either.
Yeah, we'll add those two. We missed those two.
I think, let's see how this goes before we lock everything in. I mean, I think if we could get to 25, next year, maybe look at setting 2 years, but this is 25, 26 will be, if this goes well, what we'll be looking at, but, you know.
I
That
will.
one will be done if it goes
So
well.
you just want to do 24, 25 is what I'm hearing. Do you want it posted online?
I think so.
Website to get community feedback, because I think we did that before. And put it out for a period of time, it's email or contact Amanda to provide any feedback.
I mean, I think that's always a good idea, right?
Yeah, it doesn't
Anytime that
hurt.
we can gather community feedback, that's
Sure.
positive.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna suit everybody.
No.
Never.
But they'll have their input. Right.
Looks like you found middle ground there.
Try to. So I'm assuming it's gonna be challenging to get it posted out on online or our webpage and get feedback and bring it to you next week to approve. So it'll be.
People are concerned about it. They should be looking at.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
I didn't want to push it if you all weren't.
No, I think a week is plenty of time.
Yeah, I mean, I said, we put out there for a month last time, and nobody gave any feedback at all, so.
We'll put it out, we'll get it, I'll get
Put
it,
it up on there next week, yes.
we'll get Jason, or I'll get Mr. Campbell to post it and provide feedback between now and next Monday or Tuesday. I'll put a date on it, and that way hopefully the goal will be to bring it to you all Thursday at the board meeting for approval for 24, 25. Something to keep in mind, we'll look at next year, the 25, 26, and 26, 27. 26, 27, Labor Day drops back later. So just, that'll be part of the conversation as well, I'm sure, when the time comes.
How does the VHSL start when the athletes come back?
I don't know that I have,
I mean, I think to me, that's more concerning Labor Day from the standpoint of you got coaches, you got parents, you got everybody and I think this year was the 31st. It's usually somewhere between the 31st and the 7th.
yeah, that's what. I do not have, I have the spring schedule, but I did not print, the fall schedule, but I did not print it off. All I did was print off the spring schedule to kind of get an idea of when the state stuff was for the spring. I'd have to look at it.
I mean, that's just another thing, because you see, like I said, I see it where you've got these coaches that are coming back 3 weeks early when nobody's there but my own crew.
Yeah.
Aren't those one and the same a lot of times?
Yeah. But that's, I'm just saying, that's something that, I'm not wanting to know what it is. I just say when Labor Day goes back, that's something to consider, you know, to me, it's kind of, I just want to keep our calendars as compressed as we can from the standpoint of not getting it expanded out again, week-wise.
Yeah, so the first, looks like the earliest this year, 23-24, the earliest was July 27th. 24th, I guess golf was July 24th. Football was the 27th, field hockey, we don't do, cross country was the 31st, cheer, competition sideline cheer was the 27th. Volleyball was the 31st. Next year, the 24, 25, looks like it's, first day of practice is August 1st. Golf is July 29th. So it's right there around the 29th to the 1st, to the, actually the 5th, 29th to the 5th. That's next year, I can.
I did, like I said, I think it.
So we'll work on getting, those two changes made to the January 13th date and the March 9th date, adding future professional development on those 2 days, and we'll post it to the website to the next Monday or Tuesday for feedback. And hopefully the goal will be to bring it to you all Thursday for approval.
The calendar committee did a great job. Came up with a nice compromise. Good job, you guys.
We're working hard on that.
Good work. All those professional development days you got added in.
I think the spring break thing was a good compromise too for everyone too. I think so too. I think it was nice.
Do you have that, Amanda?
I think this one's really good.
Yeah, take your little tree up.
Well, you're taking out all the work days, it's just, it's so choppy.
Yeah, I love it.
I know it's hard, but at the same time, it's just, I hear it from folks that, you know, they can't take off when the kids when there's a teacher work day or something. It's, you know, it's.
Well, and they're saying in February, but those are a good chance that they can be virtual days or something, you know, so.
Well,
You don't need
and
to have a virtual day and then a teacher work day or something. It doesn't make sense.
we don't have any work days on Friday in the fall, right? Or any holidays on Friday in the fall, other than Thanksgiving.
30th.
The 30th.
The 30th.
August 30th, we have that.
Nah,
August 3rd, that's the only thing,
that's Labor Day.
that's Labor Day. We've done, historically done that Friday and before, so we let them in there.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just Thanksgiving,
Right,
This one was hard.
not like.
Christmas break. That's the last day before break. Really, I don't think there's anything on Friday.
There was just something unnatural about seeing Giles have a pep rally on Wednesday when we're in the building up there touring it that day. That was,
It's weird.
it's real weird,
Yes.
especially when the game's not till Friday.
I mean, the point is to get them excited.
I know.
They decided to get out and practice.
Then they went home and went to practice, yeah.
Well, this will be gone before Friday gets here.
So we'll get that posted,
You're starting to get weepy.
so we can get it approved next week.
Yeah, now the baseball's here.
Yeah, because the money just flies by.
Yeah.
It's like, where did it, yeah.
Budget proposal. How you want to deal with it?
So,
I can give you ideas, but
well, go ahead, tell everybody where we're standing and what we're looking at as far as final approval of the budget.
historically, what has occurred, December timeframe, the governor put, December right there, 17th, 18th, whatever, right about that time, the governor puts out his proposal. We get a calc tool from DOE, we're able to kind of start creating what the budget's gonna look like for us for next year. Then when the Senate General Assembly gets in session, the House puts out a budget and the Senate puts out a budget. Historically, we've got a calc tool from DOE for the House and the Senate. So then we can look at the governor's proposal, the House proposal, the Senate proposal, and say, best case, worst case, what's in the middle, and we can kind of pick the one in the middle and go with it. We don't have a calc tool for the House or the Senate version. We did not get one this year. I don't anticipate us getting one this year, unless you merge up there. So I don't anticipate, so anything that we talk about, I'm talking to you based on numbers from the governor's proposal, because that's the calc tool we've received. Now, we do have total numbers for the compromised budget that they did this past weekend, which is still better than the governor's budget, so it's gonna be better for us.
So basically, we're talking governor's numbers, we're talking worst case scenario.
I believe so, unless you disagree. Yeah, that's what I think. Because if you look at the governor's proposal, this includes the stride students that we have. It's right around 34.9, something like that. If you look at the combined, what they just passed this past weekend, it was 35.6 million. So it was about $600-some thousand more. Please keep in mind our composite index went down, so that means more money that we are receiving from the state. I can walk you through what's there to this point.
I think it would be good to do that, to walk through what you've got, anything that you're proposing, just so we can chew on it unless anybody's got a different idea.
Step to the restroom.
Grab it.
I'll start walking you through, I gave you proposed salary scales. What you have on that packet that has salary scales, you have the scale on the left side of the page. If you want was in effect as of January 1, 2024. The one on the right is what would be proposed. So you can see there, and I'm just gonna go with, I think, the order that you have them in that packet. I think it's teacher assistants. Teacher assistants,
Is teacher assistance based on, are we gonna have, with minimum wage, if it goes up another dollar, it's going,
$13.50 is going to $13.50.
yeah.
The proposal there on the right takes, that's $14.90 an hour. Again, the scale on the left, January 1, we moved it to 16,240. So the proposal would be to move the starting pay for teacher assistants to 16,675. That's for a 6-hour position. So if we're gonna go to 6.5 hours, divide that by 6, multiply it by 6.5. If you're gonna go to 7, same thing, 7.5, same thing. So that's $13.90 an hour. Anticipating minimum wage going to $13.50 effective January 1, 25. We would make any of those start at the beginning of the year, so we don't have to try to remember to update contract or any work agreements or anything like that. I heard from, we heard from you last year when we looked at the salary scales of making sure that instead of having 3, 4, 5 different percentages of the steps to try to make it one. Well, I'm working on that, so I compacted it and tried to compact it a little bit. So steps 1 to 14, that's 1.5% between them and the teacher assistants. 15 to 24 is 1.7. There's a longevity step there at 25, and then 26 to 30 is still 1.7. So instead of having 3 or 4, 5 different ones like we had last year, this one only has 2. By changing it to that starting pay of 16,675, and that information there, that's an average salary increase for teacher assistants of 3.98%. Reading the information that we saw, that I got this past weekend from what the committee for the finance there at the General Assembly, they are, I think, they've come to an agreement to propose 3% both years, 3% 24-25, 3% 25-26. So this is an average increase of 3.98% for TAs. Also included 5 teacher assistant positions that will be new, because we heard that during the retreat. The need for additional TAs, so that's included there. Keep going unless you stop me. Bus drivers. Same thing on that piece of that paper there that you have in front of you. The scale on the left is what was effective January 1, 24. Starting pay of $15,835. Proposed salary increase would take starting pay to $16,290. Again, try to listen to what you all talked about the board talked about last year of trying to get to one or a minimum number of different percentages between all the steps. So step 1 to 9 is 1.5%. Step 10, that's a longevity step of $500. 11 to 19 is 1.5% again. Another longevity step at 20. 21 and 22 is 1.5%, and then 23 down is 1.7. That would get the average salary increase of the bus drivers at 4%. That salary scale. Secretaries and bookkeepers. We'll start with secretaries. These are the schools. Again, salary scale on the left has the starting pay this year effective January 1, 22,385. Proposed moving it to 23,000 next year. That is a 10-month position. That salary scale is for a 10-month position, so you would divide that by 10, multiply by 10 and a half, 11 or 12, depending on what month the positions could be. From 1 to step 24, it's 1.6% different between longevity step at 25 of $600 and then 1.7 at 26 and above. Bookkeepers. Again, salary scale on the left, starting pay in January of this year was $22,890 for a 10-month position. Proposed moving into next year to $23,775. Again, those same percentages. 1.6% for step 24, the longevity step is $600 at 25, and 1.7 for those 26 and above. Same as the secretaries. Again, those are the salary scales for the schools. That would give them an average salary increase of 5.29%. Those secretaries and bookkeepers that had.
What was the secretary's percent? So that one was 5.29.
Yeah, the average for the secretaries and bookkeepers was 5.29%. Because they could have lumped those secretaries and bookkeepers lumped together. And those secretaries and bookkeepers that have over 31 years experience, they were proposed a 5% salary increase at school. And the administrative assistants here at the school board office was proposed a 5% salary increase as well. Nurses, the next one you have there. Again, you see what the LPN starting pay effective January 1 and RN effective January 1. 28,170 for LPN. RN was 32,865 for, again, this year effective January 1. Proposing moving the LPN starting pay to 29,333 and the RN to 34,028. Again, steps 1 to 17 is 1.5% between, and 18 to 30 was 1.75. That would give, and again, and those nurses that had 31 more years experience proposed a 4% salary increase for them, and the average salary increase for nurses was 3.98% based on those salary scales. Teachers. Salary scale there. Starting this year, effective January 1 was 47,265. Proposed moving the starting pay for teachers to 48,700. Teachers with 33 or more years' experience would have 4% salary increase proposed, and this proposal would be an average of a 4% salary increase for teachers. Also, we've had the conversation before, at some point in time with the reading specialists, we're gonna need to start moving them back into the budget. I have moved one back into the budget out of the all-in spending that we have available. I also added another reading specialist in the budget to assist at the secondary 8th grade level, as well as anywhere else needed at the 3 elementary schools, because of what we're moving forward with the VLA and the Literacy Act. Also include the stipend for reading specialists, $2,000. Again, that's a specialized position trying to get individuals interested so we can get those positions filled, because those are going to be key positions moving forward. And at some point in time, we've had the conversation, I know Ms. Mustang's mentioned it to you, and it's included in our all-in spending plan for next year, for 24-25. At some point in time, we're going to need to post a reading coordinator is what we titled it. That will be out of the all-in spending plan for the 24-25, 25-26 school year. We need to get that posted so that person can be moved up here and again, assist in getting this the Literacy Act stuff implemented and moving forward, because there's a division-wide plan that has to be developed, that has to come to you all for approval and then posted. So at some point in time.
Also, the reading specialist.
And then they'll be working with the reading specialist, and there's a reading plan that has to be done for each kid that has to be worked on as well. So that person's going to be key in making sure that the literacy plan that we're going to put in place is going to be done effectively.
Anybody got any thoughts, discussion on the salary scales?
And you're wondering probably, well, what about administrators? There is not a salary scale for administrators. We've not ever had a salary scale for administrators. So administrators was proposed to have a 3.5% salary increase. Some of the things that we've been doing the last couple of years that they're still in the budget. School supplies, we've been purchasing school supplies, giving elementary schools $7,500 at the beginning of the year. And the high schools, $3,500. That's a total of $33,000. That's still there. Coursework reimbursement, still have that included in the budget. Just so you know, as of I asked yesterday, we've reimbursed this year $33,504. It's an odd cents. And we still have spring semester to kind of look at as well.
And that's for the reading specialists that are?
That's for the individuals that need, that are in positions that are provisionally licensed, or
Okay.
specialists, or
Okay.
and we put the money into to help pay for the courses, assessments that they need to get licensed. Gym pool renovation, that's funding is still in the budget. Again, don't know $60,000 we've been talking about. Those RFPs are due back when? Gym floors. We've already done approved them. Okay. The school security equipment grant funding, that's still, again, we're going to continue that in there to make sure that we can apply for up to $200,000 each year. That's a local match that we have to do of $50,000 to be able to apply for that amount. Going to continue the display boards. That funding is in there. The board put funding in there to continue to purchase display boards and put those into the classroom. So that's still in there. That was 15 of them. I think it was approximately 48,000 what we said in there. And then a conversation that we that I'm gonna have tomorrow morning. But again, just to cover us, the athletic trainers in both high schools, I know we've tried to do some things with one at Narrows High School, but it's this year, 24-25, we're gonna have to assume the whole 100% of that. So up that by, I think, about $7,000 for a total of $120,000, make sure we're covering both of them. And I'm meeting with them tomorrow, with Ashley tomorrow, to hopefully have a conversation about Narrows High School and see if we can't make sure that gets that back posted and get that, see if we can't find somebody for down there. And also addressed some substitute costs. I need to talk to David further about this to see if this is enough to account for the hourly wage increase to $13.50 an hour. We're gonna have to increase our daily rate for substitutes. Currently it's 85 and 105. We'll need to increase that to make sure we're meeting the hourly rate. So we propose going to 95 and 115. That would mean a substitute for TA would be 95, school nurse would be about, would be 110, clerical would be at 95. So I increased, added $30,000 in the substitute line just to make sure that we cover that additional cost. I don't know if that's enough. That's a conversation we'll have to have to see if that's enough. Field trips, currently it's $13.50 an hour. I think we went up last year from $12.50 to $13.50 a head, so I propose going from $13.50 to $14.50 to make sure we continue to get individuals that will do field trips. That's about $2,300 increase in there. Extra summer computer work, currently there's 3 individuals, we pay 3 people to come in, there's 30 days, they spread over the summer to come in and help get computers, Chromebooks, et cetera, ready for the next school year. That's about an additional $835 based on salary increases proposed. And then do free lunch as well, going from $13.50 an hour to $14.50 an hour. That's about $3,200 increase. So everything that you see that I just mentioned is included in that 3-page document. Those things, the items that I told you we're continuing, the school supplies, the coursework, renovation, et cetera, that's all included in one of those line items in $61,000 to $69,000. That's where those have been included. You see an additional $37.50, and I think I probably left that off and needed to add it. That additional $37.50 there in the instruction line item on the first page. That's, if you recall, the tech center at the board retreat requested an additional allocation for FTE. I think theirs was $31.68. I just made it an even, or $3,600 something, $3,650 something like that. I made it even $37.50 to account for the increase. The salary increases I shared with you, they're included in those line items, personnel costs for teachers, administrators, et cetera, below. You'll see that the VRS allocation there went down.
What's the $94,000 on support staff too?
That's the line item we moved, we started this year at 150,000 carryover, so we had to zero that out. There was a line item in there that I zeroed it out from. VRS rate went down for the 24-25, 25-26 biennium. We currently were doing 16.62, I think. It went down to 15.23, so there is some savings there. And again, those increases that you see there with the fringe benefits, that's due to the increased salary costs proposed. What you see on that second page, just so everybody knows, that second page, the column is 24-25. Those figures come directly from the calc tool that's provided to us from DOE. So when we get our new updated calc tool, those figures will be updated. Those ones that are highlighted 24-25, those will be updated. Underneath operating fund, where it says basic aid, textbooks, school, construction, all those came from there. A couple of the other items that I just have highlighted, one to keep in my mind when I'm going through there, that you see the ESSER two funding, that's spent and going away. The ESSER three funding, I removed it for 24-25 because that's got to be gone by September 1. I think we can encumber it through.
We can encumber it through the contract date.
Yeah.
So we have until October 31st, November 15th, but really October 31st.
So that's why that's highlighted to pull it out. The HVAC, the fiscal recovery fund, that probably needs to, that at some point needs to go away as well, because that's the HVAC money grant. And then the stride money, we probably need to increase the stride dollars from 9 million.
Depending on the conversations we have in the next few weeks.
The last page under local operating, again, I highlighted a couple, just the stride payment. That's our administrative fee. That, we're gonna have a conversation about the percentage administrative fee that we're receiving, and probably have a conversation to increase that, so that dollar figure will go up probably as well. School construction at 1.9 million, that's gonna go away at some point too. And the all-in per pupil funding, 1 million or 1.6 million, that's for the next 2 years as well. So at some point in time, that's gonna go away. So you see where we are right there. And I stopped because I didn't want to just keep putting stuff in there. If you all didn't want me to do more things in there, if there was something that you wanted to see in there, I wanted to at least have a conversation preliminary to see what other items you have interest in.
I have a question. So I mentioned this to Jason the other day in a conversation, because I know that we're always seeking more people on the sub list, and I heard you talk about an increase in the pay for substitute teachers. I wanted to bring up something for the board's consideration, something for us to talk about, which is now we have one payment for folks who do have an undergraduate degree and one payment rate for those who don't, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So I would like for us to consider having an equivalent pay rate for substitute teachers who have honorable discharge from the military, equivalent of those who have an undergraduate degree. Meaning, some folks go to the military but don't go to college. To me, those experiences are quite equivalent. One does not necessarily mean that they are a better teacher than the other, but I think that we might have an opportunity to recruit some substitute teachers who don't necessarily have an undergraduate degree, but have served, and I think they should be paid at the same rate as someone with an undergraduate degree for the work that's being done by the substitutes.
I think that'll have a negligible budget.
Right, I think the impact is negligible at scale, but the impact to individuals who might want to seek out this opportunity to increase our pool, especially in this area, we have a pretty large population of folks who I think fit that.
Extra $100 a week to come out.
Right?
It would just be, I think that would just be a data recording on our part.
Right?
Yeah.
Somehow to just identify.
Just verify their discharge and.
I mean, if we're verifying if somebody has an undergraduate degree, that's a matter of a transcript. If we're verifying somebody has an honorable discharge, it's a particular piece of paper.
That'd be part of it when they put in that application, they could submit that with that
Yes.
application, so we have to file, that way we can document it somehow, so that Barbara and the school know they're being paid.
Yes.
How they're being paid.
Happy to discuss it, though, if somebody has any issues with it, but.
I think we're all pretty well on board with that. Terry, do we have any data about where we stand salary rise, teacher salary rise with our?
I do. I've not updated the document that we've looked at before. I did ask, now I just have to.
Do you mean compared to others in our region?
Yes.
Okay, that's a super good question.
What I'd like to do is, if you get that to the board, we could look at it. My biggest concern in the numbers that you put out there, and it's a concern that I've put in different years. The county really wanted us to address 0 through 10 in experience. That's what we spent a good chunk and took a good swing on. We've got to make sure that what we're doing doesn't exacerbate the situation to get back where we're 5 to 10 years down the road, and we've.
I'll update the document that you're talking about, comparing it's the about 9 divisions around us. Because I did request from the DEA last week or the week before their recent salaries for 23-24. Looking at Giles County statewide, and this is based on the salary. This is just teachers. This isn't anything else, but this is teachers at the old start of the salary from the beginning of the school year, 46,315. We are 93rd at the beginning. 5 years was 94th. 10 years 94. 15 was 90. 20 is 86. 25 is 84, and 30 is 74.
Can you tell me what those numbers are again that you're?
Out of 132
Out of, okay.
divisions in the state.
That's where we fall, okay.
Yeah, and just.
If you, I'm sorry.
And just so Mr. Williams, Ms. Price, when we went through this salary thing, the talk with the county was willing to help us try to get in the top 3 out of those 9 school divisions that we worked at, realizing that number 1 is going to be very hard to get to because Montgomery County's in that, and they're in their own little world.
If you look at Region 7, that's the 19 divisions, us, Pulaski, down all the way down southwest. Same starting pay, 46,315. There's 19 divisions in Region 7. We're 5th, 2nd at 5 years, 4th at 10, 5th at 15, 5th at 20, 7th at 25, and 8th at 30. Now that doesn't include 1 or 2 from Region 6 in Region 7. So that is better than what it was.
That's great.
I don't know what everybody did January 1, how that will be affected, and I don't know what everybody's gonna do for 24, 25. But I'll take this and I'll put it in there so you can see it a little bit better.
I mean, have we seen that improvement equate to our hiring pool
Definitely.
improve too? Okay.
I think even some that left and come back.
Oh, okay.
I definitely think it's made a difference.
That's good.
If you think about driving time.
Oh, yeah.
And the cost of
Cost of living, yes. Very positive.
we can't get assistance now.
Yeah. Or get them to stay.
Yeah, I'll update that and get that to you sometime this week.
I like this, if we can afford it, everybody gets a $500 a year raise. They pull that bottom end up a little bit. I mean, the teachers, a lot of them getting 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, but And we got a lot of people that go get to 200, and there's a lot of men. I wish we could range this thing where at least everybody get $500, everybody. I pull it up.
I think that's something that's always, I mean, we always think of teachers as priority and have been, but you look at bookkeepers and secretaries and bus drivers and cafeteria and all that, gotta do some work there. I think we can look at that and have some discussions, and maybe Terry, if you see what we can do on the non-teacher positions too, with that number that we're looking at from the county end right now. And I think, given the trouble they're having hiring maintenance and other things, I think this is maybe the time that we can make that case, especially given where we've got that one number from the county ask, if I was reading that correctly. Maybe
I can work on, so I'm assuming you're talking, I can look at all the salary skills for all of them to make sure.
Yeah, what I guess what we would say is kind of, if we could get a base of 500, if we could look at it getting a base for 500 for all these positions that are the non-teaching positions, the hourly, the what have you, however they're paid. And if we could look at that and then what that would do to your overall increase to try to keep it there. Given that we know what the number is we're looking at from the county ask right now.
I'll look and see where I am, where we are now.
I mean, there's a lot of people in the middle there not getting a couple $100 raise. And some none.
Well, and again, we hear about it all the time from the county, and these are the same positions they're having trouble filling. So I think they're trying to do work on it, and I think they understand that we should be too. If you want to get good people.
Yeah, I'll look at that. Anything else?
I had a couple things there. One thing is Paul Moody, y'all know Paul? It's got what's he call it, the edge over on the river. He wanted to give us a day or two, just give it to the school system, use however we see fit to use his facility. And we can have his place for a day.
That's pretty good.
For anything we want to use it for and their families. But he said he's willing to give us a day, so whenever we want to.
Talking about the picnic shelter area.
Everything, the lodge, just everything. Bring your family, see, whoever come, bring your families along. He
That'd
lived.
be a good staff, something we could do for.
He said, let him know he wants to give us at least a day. He'd probably give you two if you wanted to, but he should at least give you a day.
And it's expensive if you pay for it. Just for
Yeah.
students' graduation.
He just said, pass that along. He
That's a retreat. That's a retreat. Yes.
It's over on the river, Pembroke, across the bridge, and goes right in the middle of the quarry, turns to the right and goes down in there.
Got real nice
He's got a nice cabin down there, lodge.
It's nice.
picnic shelter.
Married down there.
Yeah.
Zach Atkins. That's where Zach got married and Morgan with him.
I mean, I think it could be, you could do a nice employee family appreciation.
They love that.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing I wanted to ask if we would consider having you have a teacher of the month, have an employee of the month, recognize one of our employees every month, and a volunteer. Have a volunteer. We've got a lot of volunteers, and we all recognize these people. And the first one on the employee of the month, I'd give it to Mary Dalton. That girl does a lot of stuff for us. But wanted to ask if y'all go along with that.
I think that would be great.
Yeah, it'd be a great idea.
Thank you. However we need to do to work it out to pick them, but I believe we start recognizing some every month. I believe morale will be a whole lot better with a lot of our employees.
And that brings me to my mother and Kathy Webb's inquiry about Teacher of the Year in the Tech Center.
Yeah. Good point.
I don't think that they've ever participated, they've ever submitted a name when we've provided that opportunity to them.
Well, I think that ought to change. I think you've got some good teachers there. I think, like I said, I think that was, I'll hear about it if I don't inquire into
Well,
it.
I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%.
The same information every year is sent to all 6 facilities, every year. I know when, if I remember correctly, when, and it may not have been principal, when Forrest was there, it was their decision out there. They didn't want to do it because of the work involved. And nobody's done it ever since. But the same information is sent out every single year. It's talked about by Terry.
We'll have a conversation
Yeah.
and we can't push it along.
Tap it again.
I mean, they can be made to do it. I mean, but, you do have a lot of the same staff. Well, not a lot. I mean, you've got several new, but they may not want to do it. They do. It's great.
It's not because they've been left out, it's just
Oh,
they've
no.
chosen not to
They chose not
participate.
to do it, yeah.
So many years.
I mean, it is a lot of work, but.
Oh, no, I got the impression that the lady that taught out there about 30 years felt like they were a little left out.
That's not the case on ours.
Well, try to course them to do it.
We'll coach them to try to make sure they're involved next year.
And even I understand because you're dealing with the number of staff that, you've only got half the number that you would in a normal building. If it's every other year that they want to participate, but I think.
Years.
I just feel bad that sometimes that we push CTE, we push that center so much, and then we could honor, some of those folks that are out there,
Other items?
Guess we'll see you next week.
Next Thursday.
All right. If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion, she can say.
Fair enough. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.